Hi, it's Sabrina here with Azalia Snail for Videowave. I'm doing an interview with her. We'll see two of her videos, one of her past videos and a more recent video. So, hi Azalia.
Hi Sabrina.
How's everything going?
Fine, except for the chill in here.
I know, it's freezing in here.
We'll be okay.
We'll be okay? Cool.
I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. So I was supposed to interview like 2 weeks ago, but you left to go somewhere.
Right.
Where were you?
I went to Tokyo for a week.
To Tokyo?
Yeah. I just played a couple of shows and hung out with some fans of mine. It was very cool. It was very nice.
Do you have a big fan?
Well, it's not big. I have very devoted fans, but they come in small numbers. You know, very underground. But
how do they hear of you?
That's what I'd like to know. I'm fascinated by how they find out, they seek out this music. It reminds me of when I was a kid, and I was always seeking out, you know, the more obscure underground stuff. I don't know whether it was that I just didn't want to conform to what people liked, or I wasn't satisfied with what was on the surface. So I was always seeking out, you know, the more obscure, unknown bands, and then embracing it. I think I felt like it was more my own. They were my own bands, and I had them.
Everyone else's.
Exactly. You know, it just gave me like more of an independent spirit or something. So I think that's how I feel. I think that's how they feel, is that they made this little discovery, and it's their private little thing that they can do whatever they want with it or something.
That's great. You've also been touring in Europe as well?
Yeah, I've been touring Europe for the past few years.
Where about in Europe?
Well, I've been to France, probably France the most, just because I have a fan there who just sort of turns all these clubs onto me and brings me over. And then I've played Switzerland, thanks to Sports Guitar, who are a really great band from Switzerland. They're on Matador now.
That's great.
And Germany, I've been to Holland, Belgium, England, so those countries.
That's great. So you play in small venues?
Yeah, they're usually pretty small. Sometimes I'll open for, you know, somebody bigger, and they'll be at bigger size venues. But sometimes the smaller ones are my favorite shows, because you get that intimate rapport with the audience.
Right.
And I also show films when I play live, and sometimes the smaller places you can make them really dark, and the films look really good.
You show films?
Yeah, I make my own like Super 8 movies, and I show them live sometimes when I play.
That's great.
So, yeah, it gives the audience something else to look at besides, you know, somebody playing guitar.
Right.
So, yeah.
You've been compared to Beck.
Well,
and the female Beck,
yeah,
not Beck.
Just in a few reviewers did that. I don't know why. It's nice, but I don't really.
You don't feel the connection,
I mean, we both maybe use some surreal wordplay, and I think we both sort of like to do like things like sound collages. But you know,
your videos are like that too. They're like collages. They're very artistic.
That's true. I guess we're both into like a lot of experimental films, and Buñuel and some really great directors, and so whatever, you know, the kind of stuff that influences you is bound to show up in your videos if you have any control over them at all. And I think we're both pretty much. I'm not gonna say, I don't like to use the word control freak as a phrase, but we both seem to be very concerned with how. You know, our videos are, and I mean, you know, a lot of musicians,
anyone would be, right?
Anybody with integrity, would care about, you know, your videos as much as the way the music is.
Right.
So,
that makes sense. You've also done some music for some independent films.
Yeah, I really love to do that. I've been really lucky too. I've been tied together with some interesting filmmakers like Sadie Benning and this girl Sarah Jacobson, and you know, they just find out about me in different ways. I mean, I met Sadie at Bard College. A friend of mine was going there, and I met her, and we became friends, and she asked me to do this music for this MTV thing that she was working on called Ain't Nothing But a She Thing.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah. It came on, what was it, like 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think so.
So they had, you know, mostly like commercial female artists doing videos, and they were all directed by women, which is pretty cool. And they had like a Patti Smith video, which was really nice. And the Luscious Jackson one was really good. And anyway, Sadie took these animated clips. It was something she was working on at Bard College. And she had like these animated puppet characters, and she put them in these situations. And then I did the music for it. It was a great opportunity. I loved working on it. So hopefully I'll get more opportunity. I've done a few movies for this guy named Christopher Friere. He makes these like science fiction, horror, futuristic movies, very strange little films. So I've done like 3 soundtracks for him.
Why do you prefer working for him? Why?
I'll work for anybody.
Work right?
Well, I mean, I'd like the opportunity to do more. And I mean, I always see movies and think, wow, not always, but sometimes I think, wow, this could have more interesting music.
Right.
I wish I could work on it, but you know, you have to meet the right people at the right time, and
definitely
they have to know who you are and just give it a shot. Because a lot of people go with the same people, like John Williams and all these other people that do music for almost every big film. And I just think that if more people took chances, the way they're taking chances making the movies, and if they took chances more with how the music is too, instead of just sticking in like, you know, pop songs and you know, which can really ruin it. Like I just saw that film Chasing Amy, and I thought the music could have been so much more interesting.
The movie could have been better too.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, it wasn't as great as people said, but I just thought like sticking in a sappy, sentimental love song with these lyrics that are making you think a certain way because the song lyrics tell you how to think almost. And I just think more music from film should be instrumental,
right?
But really cool instrumental music, not just the same old, you know, classical, which is great too. But I mean, I'd like to see more chances being taken. So
that's great. So they basically come to you, and
yeah, I mean, I haven't really been that aggressive seeking out that kind of work because I really think that it's who you know in a lot of ways.
Right, so. Networking and
yeah, whatever. So I just hope that more people will discover what I do is really very keyed into film, and that I'll be given more of a chance.
How do you write music for films? Do you see the films first, or?
Yeah, usually. Well, sometimes they just give me an idea of what the plot is and the characters and situations. But other times, like with Sadie Benning, she had the films transferred to video, or part of it, rough cuts. So she just gave me like an hour's worth of footage. It was incredible stuff, just beautiful. So I was able to just envision it in my head, and I actually had some instrumental stuff that I like remixed and just keyed into how I thought the flow of it would be. And it really came out. I mean, I'm just so proud of that project. I'd love to do more stuff like that.
That's great.
Yeah.
So tell us about your newest album, your newest release.
Well, I have a new album coming out. I guess it'll be coming out like around the time of Halloween.
Ooh,
this year,
spooky.
Halloween. Yeah, I guess just coincidentally. It was supposed to come out
and I think the show is supposed to be on Halloween too.
Oh, okay, so
spooky.
Okay, yeah, and it's called Breaker Mortar, and in fact, a lot of it is instrumental. It's like 85% of an instrumental album. So it's stuff that I've been working on the past year, and it's coming out on Dark Beloved Cloud, which is a really cool label.
How do people go about getting your music? I know.
Well, it's at all the independent stores. I don't know if I'm allowed to mention names. I guess I am.
Yes,
this is
you can.
cable, right?
Yes, you can do it.
You know, like Other Music and Kim's and Adult Crash and just all those really cool record stores around town. But I also have my own little section at Tower. You can go in.
Yeah.
And thumb through the Azalia Snail section. It's under A, even though they moved it to S for a while, and that just didn't work. So they had to move it to A. People were used to looking under A because it's sort of like the Alice Cooper syndrome.
Right.
Like it's his name and also the name of the band as such. So I'm probably better off in A anyway.
Azalia Snail. Now that's an interesting name.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned in our previous show how you came about the name.
Yeah. Well, that's my real name actually.
That's your real name?
Of course. Yeah.
It is?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's such an interesting name.
Well, I actually shortened the Snail. It was Snailstein.
Snailstein.
To Snail. Because I thought it sounded too much like Springsteen.
Yeah.
So I shortened it just to Snail. Do you think that was a good move?
Yes, I think so. Azalia Snail. It's very appealing. I love it.
Oh, thanks.
So,
what other questions do you have, Sabrina?
What other questions? I have to think.
Yeah, let's see.
Do you have any musical influences?
Oh yeah, well, a lot, and not just musical, but film and everything, and travel. Travel really affects my music, almost more than anything. I think just going around and seeing different cultural things, and it just gives me such a great feeling, a feeling of freedom. But musically, I mean, I always loved. Obviously the Beatles and but then bands like T-Rex and the Troggs, the Kinks. I thought Ray Davies, he's one of the greatest songwriters. Bob Dylan, and I don't want to leave out Lou Reed is a huge influence on me. Patti Smith, huge. I just love what she's done. Brian Eno. Can, the German band Can. And I mean, there's so many people. I don't, Skip Spence, that album Or is so beautiful.
Right.
And just a lot of different things, a lot of different music. So, well, I was like 7 years old or something, and I was living in Cleveland, Ohio, and there was a big eclipse coming, and they kept warning you, don't look at the eclipse because it would mess
you can't
up
look at the eclipse, everyone.
Well, of course, I was such a little daredevil, foolish, and I just looked right at it. And ever since then, my eyes have been incredibly sensitive to light. So I think the pupils, stay big, or I don't know what it is, but even if it's not that sunny of a day, I have to wear sunglasses, and Well, that's okay. I like my sunglasses. I've got like really cool sunglasses,
She has the Elton John thing happening.
Yeah, and me and Elton, we both have like a lot of really cool sunglasses. That's what we have in common.
Yes.
So.
Thanks so much for coming by.
Sure, thanks.
We'll play some of your videos today, and I'm sure everyone out there will enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you.